Well, happy Monday to you all. I am so excited to wish you all a happy Christmas. I think it's this week, right? We have Christmas coming up in a few days, which is hard to believe. But regardless, I'm excited to bring you more content to help you reclaim your life from anxiety in 2022. So, first of all, for those of you tuning in, I want to welcome you all to the Beat Your Anxiety group, the group for people who are really ready and want to reclaim their lives from anxiety. And if you're in this group, you've probably gone down the typical route of prescription drugs and therapy, right? If you've done this, say I. Maybe you're currently doing prescription drugs and therapy and find that really nothing is changing much. Maybe you're getting some clarity, and you're being given some tools, but for some reason maybe you're not keeping up on those tools, right? You're not following through with what the therapist is giving you, or you don't believe it's going to work, right? And oftentimes these are people who come through my door as a board certified hypnotist. What we really focus on and what this group is for are for people who really want to reclaim their lives from anxiety, but using just natural and holistic, just doing things the natural way, right? Like reverse engineering what's happened, right? Because the biggest insight that saved me and helped me get my life back from anxiety was realizing that at one point in time, this was not an issue, right? Think about how bad your anxiety has gotten. And at some point in time, this was not an issue like it is now, right? Have you ever thought about it like that? If you're tuning in and this is resonating with you so far, say I, put me in the chat. If at some point like things were not this bad, then why can't you get back there? And this was the question that opened the doors to permanent self-healing for myself and also with the clients that I work with. So today we get to discuss what's coming up when there's this overwhelming fear of people walking away from us. And if this is something that you have dealt with, go ahead and let me know. Let me know why you're here today. Put it in the chat box, put it under comments. Yep. I know this pattern or these patterns very well. And where is this coming up in your life? Where is this fear of abandonment coming up in your life? Because if there's, this is coming from inside of you, right? So, which means that it's an oil spill, right? This can show up in our business. This can show up in our intimate partnerships. This can show up with our family, and is most likely that's where it started. Where is this showing up in your life? Comment below. I can tell you for me, it started to appear in my intimate and in my dating life, but actually after tracking things back, after we're kind of reverse engineering, what I realized is that this had come from my relationship with my parents growing up. And so first of all, let's talk about what is this fear of abandonment? Because yeah, Hannah, thanks for sharing. Yep. Yeah, we end up self-sabotaging. We sabotage our relationships. We push away the people. We chase away the people that we actually want to keep in our lives. And we're giving mixed messages all the time, right? And first, I want you all to know that, remember, this is not your fault. This is not about blaming yourself or blaming the other person. This is about really giving yourself some compassion and realizing that this is not you. These are just your habits, right? These are just habits that you've collected from just your childhood. And that's okay. And we get to learn and get to heal. And that's the whole point of this group. So first of all, what is this fear of abandonment, and how do you know if you have it? How do you know if this is what it is that you're experiencing? So fear of abandonment is really just an overwhelming sense of terror and fear when it comes to loved ones or even clients, if you're in business, just walking away or leaving. And this is typically accompanied by insecurity. So there's this constant underlying feeling of insecurity, like you're walking on unstable ground, like you're walking on eggshells all the time, right? And it's just a matter of saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing, and that person's gonna up and leave, right? It's like you wait them from the moment you wake up, from the moment you go to bed. It's like you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. How much does this sound familiar to you all? Do you feel like you're just kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it's only a matter of time, that this is like predestined, like this is supposed to happen? Put me in the chat. Is this what about this is resonating with you? What are you experiencing that makes you feel like you have this fear of abandonment? And so a lot of the times this can be wired to our children. I know my mother used to struggle with the fear for children leaving her. And often we get sabotaged, and our parents brainwash us into staying close, right? Don't leave me, thank God my children are around. We hear and we say things like that. Yeah. Yeah. So what ends up happening is, when we get so used to a pattern, right? Let's say you're just getting to know somebody, and there's a pattern that's created. Hey, maybe you talk once a week, maybe you talk once a day. And if for some reason there's a blip in that pattern, they don't reach out at the normal time or the typical time that you talk, immediately your subconscious goes into this fear, into this terror, right? Like the worst case scenario. And this is all tied back to an underlying belief or decision that was made. And this is where it comes from. There was a decision that was made, usually something along the lines of life isn't safe, I'm not safe, people aren't safe, love isn't safe. This usually ends up, we usually end up making this decision sometime between the ages of typically like 5 to 8, usually somewhere in there, we make that decision. And, this really can just come from not just your parents physically being there or not physically being there. Often we think parents being available is just about them being physically available. Well, not at all, right? If your feelings were dismissed or disregarded, then that can feel like our parents are not there emotionally, right? Like I had a mother growing up. I didn't have a father after 11 years old. And so even though my mom was physically present, oftentimes my feelings would get disregarded or dismissed. And oftentimes, she was working 2 jobs, trying to support the family. So oftentimes there's nothing malicious going on. And sometimes there are malicious things going on at home. But this fear of abandonment can surface just because you didn't feel heard or you didn't feel seen growing up. And of course, it results if your parents were physically absent. If you lost a parent or a caretaker at a young age, of course, this is going to be, it's just a matter of time till I lose another person, right? And then what ends up happening is we make a decision that, again, love isn't safe. It's not safe to get close to people. Is this resonating with you? What was the decision that you made? What's the decision that you made in regards to love, in regards to money, right? Put that in the chat, put that in the comments. What was the decision you made? Because this is going to help you start to go in the right direction. What's the decision you made at a young age? Is love unsafe? Are you unsafe? Is it unsafe to speak your mind? Is it unsafe to be yourself? One really big clue that you struggle with a fear of abandonment, and this was a pattern, this was a cycle that I became aware of personally about close to 7 or 8 years ago, which was I would get frustrated and I would blow up at people, right? And then I would stonewall, I would block people, and then I would circle back in anxiety, wondering if they were still there. How many of you have done this? How many of you recognize this pattern in yourself? You blow up, you take out your frustrations on someone else, and you may stonewall them, block them, ignore them for a few days or a few hours, and then you circle back in anxiety, wondering if they're still there. Like, oh my gosh, hello, hi. Do you still love me? Do you still want to be with me? And this whole time you're in this anxiety, right? It's horrible. But here's the thing. Here are the insights that transformed my life and my thinking about my being abandoned. And emotions, no, Hannah, your emotions are not too much. We all have emotions. If you've ever been told that your emotions are too much, I would consider this gaslighting, because guess what? We all have emotions. We're emotional beings. We're emotional beings, right? So emotions may feel like they're too much, right? Emotions may feel like they're too much, but no, you're always going to have emotions, and there's always going to be an emotion there behind every decision that you make. And so for those of you tuning in, where is your abandonment showing up in your life? For those of you tuning in right now. Yeah. You know what? If you're with an unavailable partner, and by unavailable, I mean they're not physically there or they're not emotionally there. If they can't be emotionally present with you, you're going to hear things like this, that you're too much, or you're inadequate. You're just, you're too emotional. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're going to get gaslit. And so, this is, if you're struggling with people pleasing, right? This is oftentimes people pleasers come from a history of having intermittent love from our parents, or just neglectful parents, or parents who weren't there. And so we often end up as people pleasers. We bend over backwards trying to keep relationships intact, right? Because where there's an underlying fear, they're going to leave at any point in time. And that's where we start to bend ourselves into a pretzel. How many of you can relate to that? How many of you often, what can I do for you? How can I make you happy? And it doesn't even matter what your needs are. You just throw yourself to the back seat. And then you find yourself living in resentment, right? How many of you are living in resentment? Yeah. Intermittent attention, love from a father. Yeah. That led to anxious avoidant. Okay, great. It's great that you know that. It's great to know that. And guess what? We all have wounds. We all have our own attachment styles. There's nothing wrong with us, right? But the fact that who else, who here knows their own attachment style? Do you know your attachment style? Yeah, this can come up with friends too, by the way. There can be a fear of your friends abandoning you as well. As well as if you run a business, there can be a fear that your clients are going to up and walk away, right? At any point in time, for whatever reason, and then you feel like it's because you did something wrong, or you didn't do enough, or you weren't interesting enough, you're not fun enough, you're not cool enough. All of these things are not enough. Well, guess what? Hopefully you all tuned into the interview I had with Brianna just last week, because we talked a lot about anxious and attachment avoidance styles, and how to start rethinking these labels and start to work through them. So if you didn't catch Brianna's interview, go scroll down after watching this video, go catch it. And I also have a lot more on my YouTube channel, which is also at this link in the description. So going back to what we're talking about here. So we're kind of starting to understand, not smart enough, right? Not enough of something, right? But here's the thing, right? How do you measure enough? How do you measure smart enough? How do you measure cool enough? How do you measure interesting enough? How do you measure fun enough? It's impossible to measure these things. There is no way to measure these things, right? So where is it coming from then? You see, if there's no way to measure it, then where is all of this coming from? Not enough. I'm not enough. It's coming from you, right? And here's the thing. If you feel like you're not enough, you're going to attract people who see that in you, who smell that on you, right? Like I used to fear like my apartment wasn't clean enough. How many of you have been there? Like my apartment, like when I'm dating, right? My apartment is not clean enough, and I'm gonna worry people are gonna see this. They're gonna see some dust here. They're gonna see some corrosion here. They're gonna see something there. And what did I attract? People who pointed that stuff out. People who pointed that stuff out. Why? Because my attention was on it. Because I was focused on it. Because I brought it up. I made myself wrong for it. Right? And if you're with a predator, right? If you're with a predator who's looking for your weaknesses, they're paying attention. They're paying attention to how you make yourself wrong. And bam, that becomes ammo. That becomes ammo to turn back on you. Right? But now predators are not the majority of the population. So I don't want to just talk about predators. However, if you are a people pleaser and you have struggled in the past with intermittent love or intermittent connecting or neglectful parents, then you are magnets for predators. You are a magnet for narcissists and psychopaths and sociopaths. And so that's a whole nother direction that we're going to go in down the road. But for now, let's just keep the focus on ourselves. So what are the insights here? I want to share the insights that when they clicked for me, set me free from ever fearing this abandonment ever again. Because here's the thing. Here's a powerful insight for you. Most of us are adults here, right? If you're an adult here, say I, right? Me, you're probably at least 20. I mean, come on, right? Everybody here, I think, is at least 20, right? And most of us are supporting ourselves. Most of us have a job. Most of us, maybe you're married, maybe you're supporting yourself with someone else in a partnership. But you're able-bodied. You can take care of yourself. Here's the powerful insight. You cannot be abandoned as an adult. You cannot be abandoned as an adult. As an able-bodied person, where you can go out and get a job if you have to, you have some skill, right, that you can monetize, right? Even if it's just working at a restaurant or bussing tables, right? You're able-bodied, which means you cannot be abandoned. Abandonment, true abandonment, right, is when you're abandoning like a child, right? Like if you can imagine, I get this visualization of like a child on a doorstep in a basket like you see in the movies. That's abandonment, right? When you're an adult, you cannot actually be abandoned. Because what's going to happen if somebody walks away, right? If you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, and older, you're self-sufficient. You cannot be abandoned. You have really nothing to lose other than that person's attention. Or their time or their energy. That's it. You have nothing to lose except their attention. You cannot be abandoned. And that was such an insight for me. Realizing, okay, wait a minute here. I cannot be abandoned. You cannot be abandoned. So if that's the case, then what's going on here, right? Because there's definitely fear there. There's definitely something surrounding. There's thoughts of this person leaving. Okay, great. Let's dive in there. And here's the next insight I had. Your abandonment issues have nothing to do with the person you're currently in relationships with. Let that sink in. Yeah, right? So we can't be abandoned, right? Okay, so if that's the case, then what's actually going on? That leads us into a different question, right? We're getting closer now. Add kids and cutting hours, being financially dependent. You're never, you might be financially dependent, but you can always make money yourself. Like you're never stuck. That's the belief here. That can also be a belief, right? Do you believe you're stuck? Right? You're never stuck. There's always a way out. Even if you have to get a job, even if you have to go on unemployment, right? Like there's always ways around it. You're physically fine. Right? Your body isn't in any immediate threat here. So yeah, while you may be dependent in other ways, you're not your life is not in danger by someone leaving. Here's true abandonment. Your life is in danger, right? This is a child, a helpless child, right? If a child's under 18, they're typically dependent on someone else. And of course, it's going to be life threatening, right? If you're an adult, you can go make your own money. You can go make your own money, right? Even if it's just working at McDonald's, you can go make your own money. You're never stuck. Or you can go back to school, take out a loan, go get a certification. There's a billion different ways that we can troubleshoot this. So you're never stuck as an adult. You are not helpless as an adult. You are not helpless as an adult. Of course, there's extreme cases, mental illness, not being physically able to work, right? These are more extreme cases. This is not majority of people here, right? Most people here are physically are able-bodied. You can go out and work if you have to. You can go get a roommate if you have to, if you're in like that tight of a situation, right? But we cannot be abandoned. We're not helpless. And so now what's next? There's a fear, there's an underlying fear. Okay, great. But here's the thing. That fear is not tied. That fear does not originate from the people who are currently in your life. This fear that you're experiencing with your partner or your clients or your parents or wherever this is coming up, your boss, right? Sometimes I work with a lot of clients who have abandonment issues tied to their supervisors, their bosses. Oh no, what if I have to people please, or I can't speak my mind because I might get fired? Well, guess what? There's a billion other jobs out there. You're not stuck, you're not dependent, right? But it can feel that way if we're caught up in the emotions, if we're caught up in the anxiety. But here are these insights that are going to set you free. This anxiety is not because of the current relationships you're in. This anxiety has come from your relationships with your caretakers or whoever surrounded you growing up. So you get to leave whoever you're involved with currently, leave them out of it. You don't get to burden others with your anxiety, right? This is for you to heal. And it's good to know, right? It frees us. It frees us from needing that other person to be there to solve our anxiety, right? How great is that? We get to learn today that, okay, this doesn't have to do with my current partner. This is an old wound. This is about my parents not being there when I was a child, when I was helpless. This is about my parents not acknowledging my emotions, or maybe your father or mother passed away when you were young, right? But the thing is, they just weren't available emotionally, physically, or both, which is great, right? Okay, great. That means I have the power to go in and resolve this myself. I can heal my own wounds without having to go to my partner and unload, or to go scream at my kids, or to have to check in with my clients to make sure they're still there, or check in with my spouse or my boyfriend or my girlfriend to make sure they're still there, right? You get to take those insecurities you've attached to whoever's in your life now, turn them inside and heal them from inside you. And this is where things begin to just transform. Because when you realize you have the power to heal, first of all, who's this resonating with? Put me in the comments. Is this are you learning something new here today? Has something struck you? Have you had that moment? Have you had that aha moment? Like, oh, wow, I never thought about it like that. What is resonating with you? Put it in the comments. Let me know what you're taking away. Speak up, come on. Like, I'm not here live all the time, guys. Ask questions, right? This is the time to get some free coaching, right? What is resonating with you, right? Isn't this great that now we don't have to hinge our happiness on other people, on having a job, on our bosses, on our spouses, on our kids? We don't have to hinge our safety or happiness on other people. that we get to turn inside and find our own sense of security and create that connection, and or maybe that connection's never been there, create that connection within ourselves. And that's where true empowerment comes from. This is how you solve abandonment permanently. If you continue to go and unload your insecurities on other people, you're going to keep generating the same results. People are going to keep walking away, right? Only other codependents and predators are going to stick around. Yeah, you need to choose, Mickey. How much longer? This is what I like to ask my clients in sessions. How many more days? How many more relationships are you going to let slip by? Are you going to let slip through your fingers because you're unwilling to change? How many more years of your life are you going to let slip by because you're unwilling to change? This is such a powerful insight, guys. Yeah, you need to choose between driving people away, right? And unloading on them and unloading your insecurities on them, or to turn inside and heal yourself so you don't have to deal with this ever again. And the right people are magnetized to you. And predators eliminate themselves. They will not stick around because you don't need them for your safety and security. Yep. So how do you change this? How do you begin to heal? If I'm not going to unload my frustrations on my partner or on my boss, my job, or my clients or kids, then what is the next step? The next step is permanent healing. The next step is to begin to turn inside and lean into the discomfort. When you feel that anxiety, see that I don't have to be pushed into a group of friends or just say no. You don't have to do anything, Mickey. There's nothing in this life you need to do. That's another belief, right? There's nothing in this life, and this is often a belief a lot of my clients come in with, is there's this deep-seated belief that we have to do things in this life. Not at all. Not at all. Nobody's got a gun to your head, right? Now there's consequences to every decision we make. We don't have to pay our phone bill, right? Nobody's putting a gun to our head. Now will we keep the wireless and the internet? No. But nobody's putting a gun to your head, right? You don't have to stay at that job. You don't have to stay married to that partner. You don't owe anyone anything, and nobody owes you anything. This is such another insight, right? Nobody owes you anything, and you don't owe anybody anything. You don't owe anybody your time, your energy. You don't owe anybody kindness if they haven't earned it, right? You don't owe anybody anything. Everything should be earned. You don't owe anybody trust if you don't feel safe around them, right? So you can see there's a lot of moving parts of this, but let's stay on target here with abandonment. If this has nothing to do with who you're with currently, then we get to turn inside and heal. And so here's what I challenge you to do. If you're here watching, you're here for a reason, right? You want to heal. You're done with the prescription drugs. You're probably done with therapy. You're done with wasting years of your life, letting relationships slip through your fingers, then regret and resentment and guilt and everything, right? What kind of life is that? It's not a life, right? It's suffering. It's needless suffering. And so here's what I challenge you to do. The next time you feel a compulsion, this is self-hypnosis. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a board-certified hypnotist. What I like to teach you here is permanent self-healing. My tool and what I've used to heal myself is self-hypnosis. So here's what I'm going to teach you today, a little technique. Next time, so first of all, this takes some mindfulness, right? This takes some awareness from you in the moment, but you can do that. And if you want more help with mindfulness, I've recorded videos about mindfulness in the past. Go check out my YouTube channel. There's going to be tons more there coming up. There's also videos about mindfulness there. If you need help with that, that's the first place to start. And once you've learned how to become mindful, like proper mindfulness, next time you feel a compulsion to reach out, oh my God, are they still there? Are my kids still there? Do I still have my job? Do my friends still like me? Is my partner, is that person I'm dating, do they still care? When you feel this, who's resonating with what I just said, by the way? Say me in the comments. Are they still there? Right? Isn't that a constant question? Are they still there? Do they still like me? Do I matter? Am I good enough? Right? The next time you feel a compulsion to unload your insecurities on someone, here's what I want you to do. This is going to be where the transformation happens. You turn it inside. You say, okay, hang on. Before I go unload on anyone, before I put my insecurities and shout and scream and reach out, text, whatever it is you do to connect with that person. Because remember, if you're struggling with abandonment, this is not showing up one place in your life. This is going to show up everywhere in life, in business, career, professionally, with your spouse, so intimately. It's going to show up everywhere. If you have a deep-seated fear that it's unsafe to love or to be loved, this is going to show up in every relationship you're in, and to varying degrees depending on how close you are, right? Even if you're out at the grocery store, right? If there's a fear of, if you have abandonment issues, guess what? You probably don't make eye contact with people. You probably look down, right? If I'm not good enough, you probably feel shame, and therefore you don't make eye contact. Do they still like me? Do they still like me? Yep. It's in this moment, guys. We could do some hypnosis here. It's in this moment where you start to feel this feeling creep up, anxiety, insecurity. Do they still like me? Stop and pause. Realize in that moment, this is nothing to do with them. Remember, this is everything to do with you and your whatever's gone on in the past with your parents, right? Or whoever raised you. Stop, pause, remember that. And here's what I want you to do, is I want you to lean into what's bubbling up. What is it you want to say? What is it you want? Where is this coming from? What do you want to say to that person who you want to reach out to? Are you still there? Who are you referring to? Because it's not them. Most likely it'll be a parent from the past. You know, when I used to ask that question, I used to say, are you coming back? Are you coming back? That was when I struggled with abandonment. It would come up for me as, are they coming back? Or they're never coming back. And guess what? This had nothing to do with anybody after the age of 11. Because this had everything to do with my dad passing away. It was me wondering if he was going to come back. Is daddy going to come back? And if you let yourself lean into these feelings, pause, do not go to the other person. That's your old habit that will just breed the same results you've always gotten. So don't do that. We're not going to do that this time. So here's the challenge. Turn inside, lean into it. It's not going to feel good, right? It's not going to be fun, but work is not supposed to be fun. But what's on the other side is purity, is wholeness, is calmness, confidence, peacefulness. Who doesn't want this, right? And what's bubbling up for you, let that come up. Here's a little technique. If you struggle to tap into your emotions, if you struggle to let whatever's there come up, here's a technique I give my clients. Imagine you have a dial in front of you and your fingers on a dial, kind of like a dimmer switch. And you're going to close your eyes. You're going to put your attention on your heart. And you're going to imagine as you turn up this dial, it turns up the feeling. And I've seen this work with clients. This is a tool I give them. If you struggle to tap into whatever's going on, it's too painful to bring up. Use the dial. Imagine as if you have a dial. Turn it up. And you're going to feel that feeling bubbling up. And you may cry. You may scream. You may get angry. You may want to just burst out. But let it out. You're not going to heal if you don't let it out. You're not going to heal if you don't let it out. If you don't allow yourself to be seen and heard for you. So I challenge you, the next time you deal with this, the next time you feel a compulsion to reach out to get your security needs met, don't do it. Pause. Say, okay, we know that this has nothing to do with my partner or my boss or my job or my clients or my kids. This is coming from my own past. Are you all understanding this technique? Any questions? Ask now, comment in the chat, comment in the comment box. Do you understand what to do next time this happens? Turn inside, turn that dial up, turn those feelings up, and allow whatever to come out to come out. You know, one thing I do is I go in the shower or I exercise. I do something that puts me in a trance so that it just comes up on its own. You need to get your conscious critical thinking mind out of the way. Great time to do is go in the shower, right? Sit on your couch and contemplate. Get yourself out of a place where your mind is occupied. And it will come up. And just allow it. Don't edit it. Just let it come up. Just let it rip open. Because after that is when the true healing starts. This is how you truly heal that wound, is by acknowledging it. And then your body processes the emotion. It moves out. The emotion is gone from your body. And you will never have to deal with that specific fear again. Isn't that amazing? The minute you allow yourself to process it, you will never have to deal with this emotion again. Not the emotion, that specific fear you will never have to deal with again. It's gone from your body. You've processed it, and you're free of that now. So what seems like a better path now? Continuing to run to your spouse or your kids and unloading your insecurities on them? Or do you want to just deal with it and heal from it and be done with it? And get closer to those you want to be with instead of pushing them away, right? And if you need more help with this, go check out my YouTube channel. If you need help with mindfulness, if you need help, if you want further assistance, I am taking clients on currently. If you have some goals for yourself in the new year, if you're still asking how, it sounds like you need help. I know some of you here are going to take what I just said and you're going to run with it. Next time this happens, you're going to be like on point, right? You know what to do. But I also know some of you here are going to get off this video and you're going to do nothing, right? You're going to stay right where you are because of whatever reason, fear, anxiety. And for that reason, I'm opening up my calendar to take on just a few more clients for the new year. If this is something you want more help with, I will drop a link to my calendar and you're welcome to get on a call. It's a free 30-minute call. And I will drop that link right in the comments. If you want more information, if you feel like you're going to get off this call and do nothing, do yourself a favor, guys. It's time to start reaching out for help, right? I mean, I can only do so much for you on this channel, and so every Monday from this moment forward, I will be bringing you videos every Monday regarding different topics around anxiety and insecurity and self-consciousness and confidence and self-esteem and all kinds of stuff, right? That's why we're here in this group. So every Monday, I'll be doing a Facebook Live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time starting today. Now that we have a break in between summits, another summit will start probably around March. So in between now and then, I'll be giving you a live every Monday. Let me know, post to the group what you want to learn, what is going on in your life, what do you need help with? Comment in the comment section, comment on this Facebook page. Let me know what you want to learn. Let me know what you're struggling with. That guides me and gives me a direction on where to go as well. And if you need further help, click the link in the comments. You can book a call with me for 30 minutes if you feel like you're ready, if you feel like you need further assistance, if you're still asking how, if you're still finding yourself in paralysis analysis, right? Maybe you need further assistance. Maybe we need to back up a little more and see what's going on there. So once again, I'll drop that link. I don't know if it went. But click the link to book a slot on my calendar. I have an opening for just 5 more clients for the new year. I'm keeping my roster lean and mean just because I'm giving these people a lot of attention in my time. And I'm really dedicated to helping you move through whatever you need to. So hopefully you've been able to take away from insights from this video. Go do this challenge next time. Do this challenge next time. I'm telling you, you're going to experience something magical. I know it's not always going to feel good, but think about what's on the other side, right? Calmness, closer intimacy, closer connections, uh, confidence, empowerment, personal empowerment, right? Believing in yourself. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Guess what? Just do it once. You do this challenge one time and it gets easier. It's just that first time, right? Just know that first time may be a bit like, oh, I don't want to. There's resistance. Just recognize that resistance and do it anyway. You can do it. Your will is not, your will is a very powerful thing. Your will is more powerful than your own emotions, actually, if you know how to use it right. So comment below, let me know what you've taken away from this, also what you want to learn next Monday. Post to the group, let me know what you want to dive into over the coming weeks. And if you need further assistance, book a call with me. I'm happy to chat and find out if I can help you. I know I can't help everybody here, but I know I can help empower a lot of you here, especially if you want that. So if you're ready for 2022, you're ready to kick butt. Come on, guys. Let's kick butt in 2022. Let's take our lives back from anxiety. It does not own you. You own your emotions. And that's what we're here to learn how to do, is to own ourselves, own our emotions, own our habits so we can transform our lives, huh? How about that? Let's do it. All right, guys, have an amazing rest of your week. Happy holidays. Stay safe. This is Lydia from Lydia from Beat Your Anxiety. Build Yourself Inside is my website. But Beat Your Anxiety is the group we're all in here today. So let's support each other. And I will talk to you guys next Monday. Post in the chat, post in the comments, post to this page, and I will talk to you all next Monday.